was a hard-working man, built his house into a home. He never lacked for anything, but Papa was a rolling stone. Yeah, took care of his wife and children, and Yah blessed the work of his hands. Though at times he was a little rough, he was a family man. Yeah, he managed his money well, but you can't take it to the grave. His wife cried out, "Father, please don't take him till his soul be saved." And I'm glad to say I beheld Milton give his heart to him. Yes, I did. Yes, he did. And I believe that one day we're gonna be together in the kingdom. One day I'm gonna walk that street of gold. One day I'm gonna know as I am known. One day I'm gonna see he who died for me. One day, ooh, one day. One day we will all be set free. One day, and see all walk at liberty. One day, united with my family. One day, ooh, one day.
She was a beautiful woman, had a voice of gold. With her 5 young daughters, off to church she would go. She loved to sing praises unto her Lord and King. She put her heart and soul in every word she would sing. "I'll Fly Away" was one of her favorite songs. I can still hear her voice, though she's gone. Some glad morning when this life is over, I'm gonna fly away. Yeah, yeah. I take comfort knowing I'm gonna see her again one day. Yes, I will.
One day
I'm gonna walk that street of gold.
One day
I'm gonna know, even as I am known.
One day
Gonna see he who died for me. Yes, I will. Ooh, one day.
One day
We will all be set free.
One day
To see your walk in liberty. Yes. United with my family. Yes, I will.
One day
Ooh, yes, one day.
One day
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk that street of gold.
Yes, we will.
I'm gonna know as I am now.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm gonna see he who died for me.
One day. Ooh,
One
one
day.
day.
We love and miss you, Papa and Mama Bates.
Sing, Mama.
Wonderful day it will be when my Savior's face I will see. Oh, yeah, one day. Got it?
Yep.
All right. Try to pull those armrests in just a little bit. A little bit more. Yeah, like that. Did it play on your phone? Check. Want to check it out again? Replay it.
He was a hard-working man, built his house into a home. He never lacked for anything, but Papa was a rolling stone. Yeah, took care of his wife and children, and Yah blessed the work of his hands. Though at times he was a little rough, he was a family man. Yeah, he managed his money well, but you can't take it to the grave. His wife cried out, "Father, please don't take him till his soul be saved." And I'm glad to say I beheld Milton give his heart to him. Yes, I did. Yes, he did. And I believe that one day we're gonna be together in the kingdom. One day I'm gonna walk that street of gold. One day I'm gonna know as I am known. One day I'm gonna see he who died for me. One day, ooh, one day. One day we will all be set free. One day, and see all walk at liberty. One day, united with my family. One day, ooh, one day.
She was a beautiful woman, had a voice of gold. With her 5 young daughters, off to church she would go. She loved to sing praises unto her Lord and King. She put her heart and soul in every word she would sing. "I'll Fly Away" was one of her favorite songs. I could still hear her voice, though she's gone on. Some glad morning, when this life is over, I'm gonna fly away. Yeah, yeah. I take comfort knowing I'm gonna see her again one day. Yes, I will.
One day,
One day I'm gonna walk that street of gold.
one day,
I'm gonna know, even as I am known.
one day,
Gonna see he who died for me. Yes, I will. Ooh, one day.
one day,
We will all be set free.
one day,
To see all walk in liberty. Yes. United with my family. Yes, I will. Ooh, yes, one day.
one day,
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk that street of gold.
Yes, we will.
I'm gonna know as I am now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna see He who died for me.
One day,
Yeah.
ooh,
One
one day.
We love and miss you, Papa and Mama Bates.
Sing, Mama.
Wonderful day it will be when my saving face I will see. Oh, yes, one day. Get it?
All right, is it on? All right, shalom, shalom. YouTube, Facebook. This is Malak Bahama Shah. These songs up. Malak Bahama Shah with Wake Up Zion coming at you again with Drake. Say hello, Drake.
Shalom, everyone.
That's one day. Oh boy. Excuse us. That's one day that we put together. I have to say I wrote the song, did my best at it, but it's a tribute to Mama Bates, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, Milton Bates, and Felicia and I sang the song as a duet, as a tribute, and it's funny that we started the song because we was thinking about her just before she passed away, and we asked her about the lyrics of the song. We asked her to put her contribution of the lyrics on the song and to send it back to us. And that's what she gave us at the end. The song didn't sound too much like what she had. We did our best trying to, old school it. As you saw my voice in there trying to gravel up some vocals of old school style. But like usual, Felicia did beautifully in her part of the duet. And that was Drake playing the music. Can you believe that? He did all of that. He did a pretty good job, didn't he? Well, shalom, everybody. This is the year 2026. I really don't take it serious. What year are we in anyway? 2026 since what? Since Christ died. Ain't that 4 years BC? Or he died around 30 BC, 30 AD. But he was born around 4 BC, from what I heard. 4 BC. But I don't know. But we know we're somewhere around in that vicinity of 2025, somewhere in that area. All right. This is the first Shabbat of the Gregorian New Year. I'll be honest with you. With the stuff that Western culture, civilization, this dispensation has brought to us and carried us off into captivity, I'm not so excited about the pagan holy days, holidays, what it's done to us and what it's still doing to us. I'm not too excited, not too happy about it. So when somebody comes up to me and say Happy New Year, I might, after saying I don't observe it for so long, I might say, well, thank you. I won't tell them Happy New Year back because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. Especially after the song they had us singing in elementary school to 12 Days of Christmas. I was one that said, what's that 12 Days of Christmas about? I thought it was only one day. Like the song One Day. I thought Christmas was only one day, but they singing about 12 days of Christmas. What's that all about? Well, I found out when I got up older and started studying that Christmas was really Saturnalia. It's a pagan festival of Rome, ancient pagan festival. And it was worse than what it is today. Today they kind of cartooned it, but the original Christmas was demonic. It was 12 days that you could do anything you wanted to do, commit any crime you wanted to commit. After those days were over with, you went back to normal. Kind of like that movie, The Purge. They was literally doing The Purge for Christmas in ancient times. So can't be excited about something like that, can we? Where you can do anything you wanted to do. So you know people did whatever they wanted to do. They kill, rape, molest, rob, murder during those 12 days. So when I found out about that, I was done with Christmas. Now I found out why the song was talking about 12 days of Christmas. And you still singing about those days? Wow. Now, knowing what we do know, knowing what I do know, I'm looking forward to Habib, March, April, the real beginning of the year. When does the year really begin? In the spring. You haven't figured it out how in the world does the year begin in the middle of winter? But that's the hoodwink. That's the betrayal. That's the deception of pagan holy days and holidays. Now, who's the father of the pagan holidays? You got it. This name starts with an S and the next letter is an A. It's not Santa. It's similar. Switch the letters around on Santa, you got it. And I would say for anybody that's listening to my voice, get out of the paganism. Because believe it or not, paganism is a sin. Paganism is a sin. And that's what your Bible talks about, but most of the preachers in the pulpits of America don't preach it. They don't preach that paganism is a sin. That means Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, all of those are demonic holidays. And the sooner you get out of it, the better. You don't want guys showing up on you and you observing a pagan holiday. What do you think you're going to say to you? So the sooner, the better you get out of those holidays and observe Yah's holidays, holy days. This in Leviticus chapter 23. It mentions all of Yah's holy days. Start observing what he wrote down. You'll find other people doing it too. There's a different community. Will you lose your Christian friends? Maybe. Or will you gain your Father in heaven? Sure, you will. Go to real quick. Go to John 14, verse 15. That's Luke 14. Go up right there. Scroll down to 15. Highlight that Jesus promises the Holy Spirit. So John chapter 14, verse 15. If you love me, Yahweh said, keep my commandments. Highlight that. What commandments is he talking about? Remember, a lot of the commandments is not just that you got to do this, but a lot of the commandments is don't do this. Not only do this, but don't do this. So what you think? You think Yahweh would say, hey, observe Christmas, because it's talking about Yahweh birthday, or my son Jesus' birthday. You think he would do that? Or because his son died on the cross on a tree, a bloody death, and rose from it, he's going to say, now you can observe paganism. So he died so you can observe paganism. You can sin, you can commit adultery, you can kill, you can lie, bear false witness. Because my son died and rose again. You ask somebody that is very intelligent, they say, hell no. But they will still be observing these pagan holidays. Well, I'm going to say it now. Get out of Babylon. Come out of her, my people. Go to Revelation 18. Come out of Babylon. Revelation 18. Go up to verse 4. Right there. Revelation 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partaker of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. Who is this her? Highlight that word her. It's Babylon, spiritual Babylon. When you come out of Babylon, you come out of her paganism, her sins, her idolatries. You come out of the whole kit and caboodle. You not only just say you hate Babylon, but you still observing her commandments. That's an oxymoron. That's hypocrisy. When you say you hate Babylon, you come out of all her stuff. That's what the Apostle John says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. I like the word my people, the same. My people. What people are those? Definitely it's got to be Israel, right? That you be not partaker of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God, Elohim, has remembered her iniquities. Now, this can be really true in this day and time because most of the Western culture, what we call Babylon, is Christian. It's Christian. They will go to church on Sunday and the preacher will preach a couple of scriptures out of the Bible and whatever and go home. But one thing I noticed since I was a kid, they never preach and tell you the commandments, what to do and what not to do. As long as you call a Christian or you receive or you accept this Jesus that comes from Europe into your life, that sounds funny, doesn't it? As long as you accept the Jesus that comes from Europe into your life, you're good. You come to church every Sunday and pay your tithes and go home. You do that until you die, you go to heaven. I tell you what, when I got born again and I got filled with the Spirit, I could not just rest on something like that. Because the Spirit that was within me was telling me, hey, there's much more to it than that. Be careful. Yeah, be careful. And I studied and found out the truth. When I got born again in 1981, I got filled with the Spirit in 1984. I was wondering, well, how could I be born again and filled with the Spirit and still feel so terrible? The reason why I was feeling terrible is I was observing Christmas, Easter, New Year's, all the paganism, Halloween, and all of that stuff. I was observing all of that. And I didn't know any better. I felt a real bad spirit around me. And believe it or not, people in our community get in trouble because they're observing sin, because they're observing Babylon's holy days and holidays. They feel bad, and many of them, because they don't have any shepherd, go off and do all types of iniquities and sins, like I did. I got carried off into sin and iniquity after I couldn't find my way. Go into your search engine. There was no shepherd. Click on that, Ezekiel. As I live, Ezekiel 34:8. As I live, saith Adonai Yahweh, Yahweh. Surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd. I like that, because there was no shepherd. Neither did my shepherds search for my flock. I like that. Neither did my shepherds search for my flock. But the shepherds fed themselves and fed not the flock. I like that. If you want to find out what's going on in the churches in the Western Hemisphere, this modern day stuff that's going on is Christianity, read Ezekiel 34, verse 8, or just the whole chapter, Ezekiel 34. Therefore, all you shepherds, hear the word of Yahweh. Now, this is the future. This is what he's planning on doing in this time here that's coming up. Thus saith Adonai Yahweh, behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand. I like that, and I will require my flock at their hand. I got right now on my channel, a Christian channel. I ain't got it turned up. Usually on the Shabbat, we turn off all the sports and everything, and we have it on best as we can, Christian programming without the volume. But Yah is planning on judging this system, that Christianity, because his flock was in their hand. He's gonna judge the Christian pastors, the Christian leaders, the ones that have church on Sunday, the ones that observe Christmas on December the 25th, which is Saturday, and New Year's Day on January the 1st, with their months that basically are celebrating pagan idols, idolatry. He's gonna judge them. They're gonna say we didn't know. He's going to say, if you didn't know, then why were you up there teaching? Why were you preaching? Telling my people what to do. How long did you do this? How long were you a Christian? 70, 80 years? You still didn't know that these pagan holidays were sins against me? You didn't know that? Thus saith Adonai Yahweh, behold, I'm against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherds feed themselves anymore, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth. I like that. So what are these pastors, these Christian pastors doing? They're eating the flock. Not the Christian flock, but Yahweh's flock. A lot of people say, well, that is the Christian flock. That's Yahweh. No, Yahweh's flock is not the Christian flock. Yahweh's flock is Israel and Judah. I'm not saying that nobody else can have mercy in the day of Yahweh, but his people is Israel and Judah. He's talking about judging the nations that pretended to be shepherds of his flock, judging them for what they did. They fed themselves, they fed not the flock. They became, the Israelites became meat for the beasts. So for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. I like that. So when you read the scriptures, you read about the beast and the false prophet. The beasts are the ones that's eating sheep. The beasts are the ones eating sheep. One thing, just put this in your mind. When is the last time you saw sheep crouching in high grass, waiting on some beast, some buffalo to go across so that they can attack them? You don't see that, do you? You don't see lambs and sheep biting on other creatures and eating them. So when you look at the term the beast, it's talking about creatures that eat other creatures. Now man is a beast too. I have to admit I've eaten that boiled beef. I boil the blood out of it and eat it. So man is a beast also. But who's the beast the Bible's talking about? It's these creatures that took the sheep of Yahweh and ate them. First of all, they got control of the world. When they got control of the world, they got control of Israel, the true people of Israel, the 12 tribes. They lied about their identity and made sure their identity was lost. Then they started eating them. The reason why this happened, it was not just because of the Gentiles' fault. The major people that was at fault here is Israel and Judah, for disobeying Yahweh's commandments. Because they didn't keep Yahweh's commandments, Yahweh forsook them and let the nations wreak havoc on them. Now, does that mean that the nations, the Gentiles, can say, yeah, it's not our fault? Yahweh allowed us to do that to them. You think they can say that? Let me tell you the danger of saying something like that. What happened to Babylon after Yah delivered Israel out of Babylon's hand and took them back home? What happened to Babylon? What happened to Egypt when Yah was done with Egypt, with Israel being in Egypt and got them out of there and let them cross the Red Sea? What happened to Egypt around that time? Both nations were destroyed. All right? That's what he's talking about doing right here to Christianity. Destroying those nations. He's going to have those nations that survive of those nations serve his people. Go to search. Hold on. There. The nation and kingdom. Okay. Go down to Isaiah and click on Isaiah 60, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. I like that whole chapter sentence of scripture. Read it again, Isaiah 60, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee, that will not serve who? Israel and Judah. And that restoration. This is talking about the restoration time. Because believe it or not, the true Israelites and the house of Judah are going to be restored. All right, we was just talking about that last week about Elijah. Yahushua said Elijah shall truly first come and restore all things. So there's going to be a restoration of Israel. That's right, he's going to restore the ones that's already started coming back home, that's living over there. Can I say something real quick? Hell no. Because the only people that should be over there right now are people that are at peace with Yahweh. All right. If anybody's over there that's not Yahweh's people, they don't belong there. There's people over there in the land that are not Yahweh's people. People that are Yahweh's people have been in captivity for the last 2,000 years. They fulfill the curses that are written in the Bible for if Israel would not obey Yahweh. They fulfill those prophecies, including the last one in Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. The Lord shall bring you back to Egypt again in ships. If you have not been brought to Egypt again in ships and you call yourself an Israelite, you dwell in the land over there, you are a false people. You're not the people. Now, is there hope for you? Yeah. If you humble yourself and repent and recognize who the true people are and try to open up and wake up their understanding. But if you're sitting around teaching to them that they're not the people and that these other folks are the people, you're going to be judged. You're guilty of eating the sheep. Really, to be honest with you, if you're of the other nations of the area, I don't see why you would want to be Israel or Judah. They're going through hell at the moment. Hell and high water. Excuse me. If that's a curse word, I don't see it as a curse word. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve Israel will perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. You want to run from that. The nations that don't want to serve Israel in the restoration will perish. Those nations shall be utterly wasted. So that's the problem with these pagan traditions and holidays. You will not serve Israel observing those days. And what does Saturnalia mean anyway? What's that all about? Well, Rudolph's nose turns red and he flies through the air. The big fat man in a red suit slides down some chimneys with a sack in his hand. First of all, he looks for the cookies and milk. I ask, what are those days all about? I don't know. The God that we serve is a God that has wisdom, that knows, that has knowledge. He teaches people knowledge and wisdom and understanding. There's no knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of these pagan holidays. It just teaches you to worship and serve idols, which is really what you're really serving and worshiping. Guess who? The guy that comes down the chimney called Santa. Look at his name, Santa, Santa. Where you twist that N to the end of it, and what you get, Satan. Who are they worshiping? Who are they serving? Satan. You won't go before Yah in judgment and think you're going to get mercy when you worship Satan all your whole life. And you taught Yah's people to worship Satan. No, you better run. Better run from Babylon. Better come out of her. All right? You better run for mercy, for safety. I want you to, I started off right here talking about this. Go to Revelation 13. Now we have a whole world empire based upon paganism. Revelation 13. Okay. Revelation 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea. Revelation 13, verse 1. And saw a beast. Rise up, highlight the word beast. Rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So this whole sentence, this whole scripture is about blasphemy. It's about paganism. Beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. It's an idol. It's a pagan. Scroll up. Remember what we were just saying about beast? Christianity as a religion is a beast. Christianity is eating up Yah's people. But as long as most people don't know that it's going on like that, shh. You're shushing so that the God who knows everything and sees all cannot hear and see you. There's that word beast again. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. His feet was like unto the feet of a bear. All of these beasts eat up people too. His feet was like the feet of a bear. His mouth was as the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Scroll up a little bit. I saw one of his heads as if it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Did you know that Rome kind of fell in the 2nd century? What happened after they fell? Well, the people that was normally running Rome, which was the Edomites, took off and ran up into the Caucasus Mountains. And a different type of people started ruling and reigning for the next 1400 years. That's the reason why you see history that sneaks in there every now and then that shows you that people of color was reigning in Europe for a long time. But they don't talk about it. They don't teach you that, and that in the school. They didn't teach me. And I went straight to mostly a Caucasoid school. They didn't teach me that black folks were ruling and reigning in Europe all the way up until 1500s. But that's the truth. And around the 1500s, that beast that was wounded to death came back to life and came up out of the pit. The pit is up in the Caucasus Mountains, the bottomless pit. That's what it was, the bottomless pit, the Caucasus Mountains. They came out of that pit and started taking over Great Britain and United Kingdom, Germany, France, they got the victory. That's the reason why you hear about King James was a black man, because that really was a black man. That was King James. That was around the end of that rule of these black folks ruling up in Europe. That was around that end time of it. I'm gonna tell you, what's his name? The dude, the Shakespeare, that wrote a lot of plays and a lot of stuff back then in the day. Look up that movie. Was it Orpheus? What's the name of that movie, Drake? Orpheus? Look up that movie, played by Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne also played in The Matrix. So that right there should let you know, oh, let me go watch this movie. Because The Matrix was dynamite and letting us know what was going on. So same way with Orpheus or Morpheus. There's written by Shakespeare about, it's around the time when the white people in Europe start rising back up and reigning. And the movie starts with this black man having a lot of power in Great Britain or up in Europe. You can tell that the world at that time was used to that. They weren't used to black folks being slaves. They was the rulers. But they had the black guy played by Lawrence Fishburne was Morpheus, and he had a lot of power. He was ruling, and it was around the time when these white folks started taking back over. But he had a buddy, a white guy, that secretly was jealous and envious of him, and he was plotting his demise. Finally, he got him. I think he caused his wife, who was a white woman, to kill herself. Eventually, he caused him to kill himself. I can't remember the movie how it went exactly. But the major part about the movie is that it's written around the time when black folks were still ruling in Europe. You wonder, why does Shakespeare write something like this? This black man ruling in Europe. And it definitely is not just any old man where you write the lead character as a white guy. No, it's definitely a black Moor. Blackamoor is what Morpheus was. So that had to be in the show. That had to be in the movie. That the major character was black. So Shakespeare wrote a movie about it, about that time when the power switched. Morpheus, Black Morpheus. When the power switched, that's when they started enslaving these black people. Before the power switched, there was no problem. But after the power switched, then they started doing the slave trade and oppression and war. So one of the deadly wounds on the beast was wounded to death around the first part of the Roman Empire, around the first century, second century, and it didn't get recovered from his wound until around the 14 or 1500s. Let me read that again. And I saw one of his heads as if it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. Highlight that, and his deadly wound was healed. So his deadly wound was healed in around the 14, 1500s. That's when they called it what is it called? What is that called around the 1500s? What do they call that? The rebirth, new birth of modern art? What is that name of that? What do they call that? Uh, it's a new time. It's the 1500s. I forget what it's called, the name of it. But it's a rebirth. The name of it is called a rebirth around the 1500s. That's when they started painting all the pictures of religious people white. Before then, everybody was painting the pictures black. The religious people, Jesus was painted black. John the Baptist was painted black. All of the religious saints and apostles and prophets were black. But around the 1500s, they started changing the color of the paintings. All right. The reason why is because they got the victory. They started getting the victory over these people that were ruling them, which were people of color. And his deadly wound was healed. There it is. That's a prophecy. That's what happened. Can you don't remember that in school? What they called it in the 1500s? The rebirth of modern art. I can't remember. Go ahead. Drake is gonna look it up real quick. Probably some of y'all out there listening know right off the top. We're not on the live where you could type it in, so we'll have to do it this way.
Renaissance.
The Renaissance. There it is. The Renaissance age. That's what happened. The daily wound was healed. That's called the Renaissance. And all the world wondered after the beast. Highlight that. And all the world wondered after the beast. Highlight that last part of that scripture. All right. So now you can see what Yah is talking about when he said that he's gonna deliver his sheep from their mouths. The mouth of this beast is a leopard, a bear, and a lion. All right. Revelation chapter 13. It's really Christianity. All of those beasts symbolize something about those nations. But the major thing about those nations that they eat, they prey on animals, and they prey on mankind too. They prey on man. Bear eats human flesh, lion eats human flesh, and a leopard eats human flesh. And they worship the dragon. So who's the god of this beast? Highlight the word dragon. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. So that means if you really worship in Christianity, guess what you worshiping? If you worshiping and you're a Christian, guess what you really worshiping? Click on that 1404 for dragon. Dragon. Now Drake, his name is short for dragon. But his first name is really Christian. Christian Dragon. But the thing about Drake is that he got born again not too long ago, a few years back. When his mother named him that, his mother was not woke yet. But she named him Christopher Drake, which is, the name Drake is short for dragon. Probably from an alternate form of, I don't know what that is. It's definitely Greek. Dirkomai, to look. A fabulous kind of serpent. Highlight that. A fabulous kind of serpent. Perhaps as opposed to fascinate. Dragon. So when they worship, you can click out of that. So they worship the dragon, or dragon, which gave power unto the beast. So what's giving power into this system? The dragon, which is a serpent. And the serpent is really Satan. So this religion that we call Christianity is really being ran by Satan. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So what's this beast again? The beast again is a Western culture that's Christian. Christian Western culture. And you can look around the world, look at the news. Everybody's saying, who can wage war against the Christian Western dragon? And mostly that's looked at as America. And the Bible calls it Babylon. We just saw that in Revelation chapter 18. Mystery Babylon. Right here, they're saying who was able to make war with the beast, with him. So this beast is so powerful that nobody can imagine somebody that can make war with him. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and the power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Scroll up a little bit. 42 months would really be 3.5 years. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, against Elohim, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. I want to show you something. He opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim, to blaspheme his name. Highlight that, blaspheme his name. This is the reason why I say, and I teach on this all the time, that in order for his name to be blasphemed in the earth by the dragon, Yah is going to have to come down. His name has a persona. It's a person. He is the name of Yahweh. So the dragon opened his mouth, blaspheming against Elohim, to blaspheme his name in his tabernacle. Highlight that, in his tabernacle. Right here is letting you know someone's going to go up. There's going to be a tabernacle of David that's going to be rebuilt. Remember in Amos chapter, 9? So that Yah said, at that time I will return and rebuild the tabernacle of David that is fallen. So what is Yah's tabernacle going to be? Where's it going to be at? It's going to be on the earth. It's going to be the tabernacle of David. So his name is going to be here, and his tabernacle is going to be here, and them that dwell in heaven. Highlight that, and them that dwell in heaven. There's going to be a time where right now people don't dwell up in heaven. The only one that's really human, pretty much, is Yahushua, because he lived a righteous, totally righteous, unsinned life. He's up there in heaven right next to the Father. He would blaspheme the name, the tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Scroll up. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. Highlight that. It was given unto him to make war with the saints. All right. We see that in the book of Daniel, chapter 7. I often bring it up. That the little horn waged war against the saints and prevailed against them until waged war against the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came. All right. So who's the one that's going to come and put an end to the beast and the dragon waging war and prevailing against the saints? The Ancient of Days, Yahweh. That's why I say that if the dragon is blaspheming, if he's blaspheming blaspheming against God, blaspheming his name and his tabernacle, then Yah had come down. The reason why he's blaspheming the God and his name and the tabernacle is because Yah was down here. And everybody know it. So he's basically blaspheming so he can get people to worship him. He's blaspheming God and his name and his tabernacle so that the people can worship him. But I don't think most people see what happened here. Revelation chapter 13, where the dragon would be blaspheming like that. Where the beast would be blaspheming Yah and his name and his tabernacle. See, in the scriptures, when you read this correctly, in Isaiah chapter 1 and 2 and all of that, talking about the mountain of Yahweh is going to be exalted above all the mountains. And many people are going to go and say, let us go up to the mountain of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. That means Yah will teach us of his ways. And you see in the book of Acts, chapter 29, that chapter they took out, Where this man is going to be in the earth, he's going to be called the God of with the sword. I forget what they call it. It's in Acts chapter 29, verses 10 through 12. Well, God is going to be in the earth. And Isaiah chapter 1 and 2 says that too. I think it's Isaiah chapter 2. All right. God is going to be in the earth. Yah is going to be in the earth. He's going to become something. He's going to be a human being, but he's going to become Yahweh. You might be thinking, how in the hell? But how in the hell can his name be called him, the one that is, one that was, is, and is to come? In the book of Revelation, chapter 1. Was, is, and is to come. Or is, was, and is to come. I think that's how you say it. How do you explain that? I don't know, but we'll find out. Well, by the time you find out, it might be too late. All right? When you don't know how that might hit you, you better find out what that is. He is, was, and is to come. And I heard one Bible scholar a few weeks back say that the one sitting on the throne is Yahushua. But the Bible doesn't call Yahushua the one that is, was, and is to come. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the Bible says Yahushua was created. Who was he created by? He was created by the Father. So the Father is the one true God, the one true Elohim. And the Son, Yahushua, obeyed the Father in everything he did. That's why he got the victory. That's why he's sitting at the right hand of the Father right now today. But let's go on. Revelation 13:7, it was given unto him to make war with the saints. And like we just said, Daniel chapter 7, I think it's verse 20, 21, basically said that the little horn waged war against the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came. Here that is right here. Here's that prophecy again. It was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. Who's the little horn? When you read it in the book of Daniel in chapter 7, the little horn comes out of the Roman beast, out of the fourth beast, which is Rome. You can pretty much put your finger on it. That is really the Pope or Papal system. Because the Pope is the one that started waging war against the saints in the 1500s. 1400s, Pope Nicholas is the one that basically did the papal bull about Black Jews being enslaved and made to worship Christianity. And if they didn't worship Christianity, they had to go. Just all of a sudden, just woke up out of nowhere and said, hell with these Black Jews. And if they don't convert to Christianity, then sell their children as slaves. That's written right there in Deuteronomy 28 chapter, one of the curses. The children will be taken away from them. But that's what happened to the Jews in Spain and Portugal. Now, that's one thing that we did study in school, in elementary. But one of the things that I never caught on to was whatever happened to those Jews that were persecuted in Spain and Portugal. We studied that they suffered, that they went through persecution and all of that, but whatever happened to them? They went through Inquisition and all of that, but what happened to those Jews? Oh, well, I don't know. What, you know? No, those Jews were carried over to the New World and made slaves. I didn't know that. What race are you? Jewish. Oh boy. There was a certain type of Jew that they was carrying from the old world to the new world and then slavery. Which Jews were those? I'm not gonna do that Jeopardy tune any longer. It makes me angry. It was given unto him to make war with the saints, to overcome them, and power was given over him over all kindreds, given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. I like that. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. The key to this whole sentence right here is all that dwell upon the earth. In Hebrew is aratz, aratz. That means the earth, the land. That's not the saints. The saints are dwelling in heavenly places in the shade. They're in the spirit. But the ones that are not in the spirit dwell on the earth. They're earthy. And all that dwell upon the earth that are not in the spirit shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. So this is right here telling us that Yahushua did not die so that people can observe Christmas and Saturnalia and New Year's. Because he didn't shed his blood for that. Right, it says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written. Highlight that, whose names are not written. Whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So everybody that's in this world that are not worshiping Yahweh by keeping his commandments are worshiping the dragon, the beast. Worshiping the beast and the dragon. And then it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity, I like that, shall go into captivity. So these people, this should give you a hint. Whoever these people are that call themselves religious, that are worshiping the dragon and worshiping the beast, they carry people into captivity. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. So they carry people into captivity. What people do you think those were that they carried into captivity? Yeah, the Jews. The ones that were in Spain and Portugal, that was on the west coast of Africa. They didn't get them out of Europe and carry them into captivity. They got them out of Africa. Spain and Portugal, which had a great community of black Jews going all the way back to Babylon. So he that leadeth into captivity, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So the people that did this upon the restoration of Israel, they're going to go into captivity. This is where you see where they're going to tell Yahushua when they see him, did not we prophesy in your name, cast out demons, and do many wonderful works? He's going to say, depart from me, you that work iniquity, I never knew you. How does Yahweh know? How does Yahweh and his son Yahushua know people? Because they keep his commandments. And what the things that Yah said not to do, they don't do. They don't do paganism. But he that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So what's going on in the world right now is you got the beast, you got for one thing, you got in the spirit realm, you got the dragon, which is Satan's, the angel, which is working for Yah. Many people say, well, he's working for Yah, then he's doing good. Yeah, there's some more information on that about him working for Yah, because he does work for Yah. This is the reason why I say that, yeah, in order for Satan to become Yahweh's enemy and not work for him anymore, Yahweh would have to come down to the earth. Because right now, Yahweh is working for Yahweh. In order for Satan to become an enemy of Yahweh's, Yahweh would have to come down to the earth and start working. And Satan would have to fight against him. Could that happen like that? Oh, yeah. How do you think Satan gets destroyed in the end? Because he fights against Yahweh. Now, does there an angel standing up in heaven saying, everybody, Yahweh is on the earth? No. He's going to wind up in the earth, though. He's going to wind up fighting against Yahweh. How do you know? Because what we just read. And he opened at verse 6, Revelation 13, verse 6. He opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and him that dwelleth in heaven. It's almost like this dragon, this beast, or whatever he is, never did this before. He opened his mouth to blaspheme against Elohim. That means that he blasphemed Elohim, whether he knew it was Elohim or not. He blasphemed, opened his mouth against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. So something had to happen right here. What happened? What do you think what happened? Let me put it in a nutshell. In Revelation chapter 12, especially at the beginning, that woman that brought forth the man-child that was in the heavens, this great sign appeared in heaven. This woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet, crown of 12 stars on her head. And she cried, travailing in birth to give birth unto a child. And the dragon stood before the woman, trying to devour the child as soon as it was born. What happened? The child was born. And the child was caught up into Elohim into his throne. What happened there? Yahweh was in the earth. A lot of people say, that's Yahweh Shai. No. Yahweh Shai was already up in heaven. All right? Yahweh Shai was already up in heaven, sitting on the right hand of the Father. Or whoever this was caught up into Elohim into his throne. It didn't say whosoever, he was caught up into Elohim into his right hand, to the right hand of Elohim. He was caught up to Elohim into his throne, to the throne of Elohim. That sounds like that's really Yahweh. Yahweh was caught up into his own throne. That means Yahweh was in the earth. What happens? He gets caught up. When he gets caught up, what happens? Satan gets kicked out of heaven. So what happened? Satan and Yahweh in a human form cannot be in the same place. Just like Yahweh Shai cannot be in the same place with Satan. So if a person gets born again and filled with the Spirit, they cannot have demons inside of them. Because the Holy Spirit would chase those demons out of that person. Same way, up in heaven, if Yahweh goes up to heaven with a human body, puts on a human body up in heaven, Satan got to go. That's what appears what took place right there in Revelation chapter 12. Not that Yahweh Shai put on a human body. It was Yahweh that put on a human body. Now, I'm not saying Yahweh Shai is Yahweh. I'm not saying that. But the Most High, the Father, put on a human body. Got caught up to his own throne. And Michael kicked Satan out of heaven. Because he couldn't dwell up there with Yahweh. So what did Satan do? He got kicked out of heaven. He came down to the earth. When he saw he was kicked out of heaven, he waged war. One of the first things he did, he started blaspheming Elohim, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell up in heaven. But that should be put in a nutshell, shouldn't it? That's a nutshell. When Satan got kicked out of heaven by Michael the archangel in Revelation chapter 12, first thing he did was blaspheme against Yahweh, his name, his tabernacle, and then dwell in heaven. So he got angry. All right. And the Bible said he was kicked out of heaven. He kicked him to the earth. And he even went into the tabernacle or the temple and sat on the throne. That's in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. So believe it or not, this system that's called Christianity that observes paganism is the enemy with Yah. And Yah, in order to declare war on Satan, is going to come down into the earth. Believe it, yes, Satan works for Yahweh. He has been working for Yahweh all the way up until now. But there's going to come a day when Satan is going to be fighting against Yahweh. He's no longer going to be working for him. How's that going to happen? Yah is going to put on human flesh. Even Yahweh is waiting on that. Go to Daniel chapter 7. Daniel. You're close. You're not there. There you go. Chapter 7. Yeah. Go to verse 20. That's 6. 21. Well, here we was just talking about. That beast is called the little horn. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. This is in the mid 1400s. The Pope Nicholas. All right. Verse 22. Boys prevailed against them. That's what he's doing right now. He's prevailing against the saints. Until, highlight the word until. The Ancient of Days, highlight that whole thing. The Ancient of Days came. Until the Ancient of Days came. Notice it doesn't say until Yahweh came. So who is this putting on human flesh and coming to the earth? Yahweh. And until the Ancient of Days came, and click on that word for came, 8:58. Athal, we just looked at this last week, corresponding to Hebrew 8:57. Highlight the word become, that starts off in parentheses. Till the Ancient of Days becomes. What is it going to become? A human being. This is where the term, the name of Yah, right there, he's called the name of Yahweh. That's where that comes into play. The name of Yahweh. So when it says the beast opened his mouth against God, to blaspheme his name, what is his name? The Ancient of Days. His reputation is he's going to be Yah. So I guess Satan thought, well, I'm going to get away with this forever. Because how in the world is he going to be enemies against me? Because he's my boss. He's your boss until he snuck down here and took on human flesh. Now, one thing about Yah is that he could be up in heaven, he could be on the earth at the same time. But Satan, it's easy to think for Satan that he's going to always be working for Yahweh. Now, once you fight against Yahweh, he is enemy. That's what takes place. Yahweh sneaks down here. He doesn't sneak. He just comes down. And Satan fights against him. Why? Because Yahweh is a man, a human being that believes in his son Yahweh. Now, he doesn't know. Satan's not going to know that this is really Yahweh. Satan is not all-knowing. All right. He's one. He's only one creature, an angel that has other angels up under him. He's not omnipresent, all knowing, and all of that. So he's not going to know that that person that he's fighting against is Yahweh. But it's going to be too late. He's been fought against his boss. And when the man child, which many people think that man child in Revelation 12 is Yahweh Shai, when that man child is caught up in the Elohim into his throne, Satan is kicked out of heaven. Why? Because he fought against his boss. That's when he comes down to earth and starts blaspheming. Blaspheming against Yahweh and his name, his tabernacle, and those that dwell in heaven. And show me, if not, then show me another place where Satan blaspheming against God and against his name and against the tabernacle and those that dwell in heaven somewhere else, where he's done it before. You never see it in the Bible where he's done that before. But what happened? Yeah, I do a juke move on him. In football, you have moves. Running back can have a move and fake somebody out of their shoes. Just like in basketball, people got those moves, juke moves. Allen Iverson put a juke move on Michael Jordan one time when he just got in the league, and basically everybody was talking about it. He faked Michael Jordan out of his gym shoes. Well, yeah, I come down to the earth and fake Satan out of his horns. So Satan was fighting against Yahweh with his own boss, and that's what caused the problem. In order for that to happen, Yah has to come down. To the Ancient of Days become. That word is right there. Athal, it says to become. All right, click out of that. And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. So the Ancient of Days came and became, and Yah gave the judgment to the saints of the Most High. Gave them the favor. The whole thing switched. This thing is not going to switch until this time period right here. And we're in that time period. The 400 years of affliction is over. What is Yah doing right now? He's judging the system that afflicted his people. So the 400 years is up, so he's judging the system. The system is still trying to fight against Yah. They don't know that they're fighting against Yah, but that's what they're doing. And the judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. The time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. I like that. And the time came, the saints possessed the kingdom. Go to Daniel chapter 9. I'm trying to find this place. Oh, Daniel chapter 12, excuse me. Highlight that the end time. So we're at the close to the end of time right now. When is it going to happen? The angels and the Son of Man don't even know themselves. Who knows? The Father. No one knows when the end of time is going to be but the Father. That goes to show you that if Yahweh Shai was the Most High, he would know. And I'm not dogging out Yahweh Shai. What I'm dogging out is the people that don't realize that Yahweh Shai is really a creature. He's a created person. Because Yahweh Shai knows that about his own self. That he's created. He's not the Most High. and people go before Yah thinking that Yahweh Shai was the Most High, I'd be kind of scared. I'd be trembling. Because you're not supposed to have any other gods before the Most High. And at that time, shall Michael stand up, the great prince? This is going to be at the end. What's going to be the end? Go to Isaiah chapter 25. Isaiah 25. Right there. You're close to it. That's Jeremiah. Isaiah comes before Jeremiah. 25. Right there. Scroll up. All right. Chapter 25, verse 5. Scroll up just a little bit more. Right there. Thou shalt bring down the noise of strangers as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with a shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible one shall be brought low. Who will do this? We're going to see that this is really Yahweh that's going to do this. Verse 6. And in this mountain, Yahweh of hosts, and in this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things. Burping. You should make unto all people. I like the word all. This is why I don't go along with people that's saying that the other nations cannot have mercy during the day of judgment. I'm not going to say they're going to get the same salvation as Israel. No, they won't. All nations won't get the same salvation as Israel. Was all nations given the Torah? Or was Israel just given the Torah? No, it's only Israel was given the Torah. The scripture says, he showed up his word unto Jacob, his statutes and judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have never known them. So he did not give his Torah and his laws to the nations. So they're not going to have the same salvation Israel's going to have. But they're going to have mercy. Some going to have mercy and some not. Some not going to have mercy. Obviously, when you come to that day, you're going to want mercy. Just, simple. You want mercy. Once you see what's going on and see what's going to happen to you, if you don't get mercy, you're going to want mercy. Serious. You dealing with the Most High God. You can say, well, I'll just die so I can get out of his presence. No. Yahweh said, fear not the one that can kill you and afterwards can do nothing else to you. But fear him after who kills you, can raise you back up and throw you into the lake of fire. Yes, fear him. And that's what you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be dealing with the Most High. All right? And in this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wine on lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wine on lees well refined. You're going to make unto all people. This will be the time of the fullness of the Gentiles. So what happens? The fullness of the Gentiles takes place. When that happens, Yah shows up. Yah and the Gentiles is going to have mercy. You're going to welcome Israel scattered among the nations back home. All right. Yah and the Gentiles and the fullness of the Gentiles that are right with him, and the Israelites that have just returned home, that are really righteous, are going to go into the marriage supper of the Lamb up in heaven. It won't be the rapture, this rapture thing. Get out of here with that. The marriage supper of the Lamb is going to take place up in heaven. That's why the beast is blaspheming those that are up in heaven. He's blaspheming Yah and his people up in heaven because they're celebrating the marriage supper of the Lamb. He went up to heaven, got caught up to Elohim into his throne, and took with him all of the righteous. And let me continue to read. In this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto all people. Okay, I already read that. Verse 7, scroll up a little bit. Right there. He will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. We're going to see what this covering cast is and this veil spread over all nations in a second. Scroll up a little bit. Verse 8. Verse 8. He will swallow up death. Highlight that. He will swallow up death and victory. What happens at the end of the world? Somebody going to swallow up death and victory. Now, who do you think this person is that's going to swallow up death and victory? Only Yahweh could swallow up death and victory. The Son of God got killed by death. But the Most High doesn't die by death. It's impossible for him to die. But he will swallow up death and victory, and Adonai Yahweh will wipe away tears from off all faces. Highlight that. In Adonai Yahweh, that's on the first sentence. First sentence. Verse 8. Verse 8. So Adonai Yahweh will wipe away tears from off all faces. In order for him to wipe off tears from off all faces, I think this is literal. This will be a literal man that's going to be Adonai Yahweh. Not Yahweh Shai. Adonai Yahweh. The one that's swallowed up in death and victory. It's going to wipe away all tears from off all faces. Keep that right there real quick. Go to Revelation. I'm going to prove it to you. Revelation 7. Quickly. Scroll all the way down. Revelation 7:15. Therefore are they before the throne of Elohim and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth, highlight this, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. Who sits on the throne up in heaven? We know Yahweh sits on the throne, and take up a moron and say that Yahweh is sitting on the throne up in heaven. It doesn't say that in the Bible. If you read the Bible, it doesn't say that. The one that sits on the throne up in heaven is Yahweh. He that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. Remember that this heaven that we're gonna see and that we're gonna experience is not gonna be up in heaven. It's gonna be on the earth. So where is he gonna be at in order to be dwelling among his people? On the earth. It's simple. All right. Verse 16, they shall hunger no more, neither thirst anymore, neither shall the sun light on them anymore, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters. And highlight this, and Elohim shall wipe away all tears from off their eyes. So what we was just reading in Isaiah 25 basically said the one that swallows up death is going to wipe away tears from off all faces. Right here it says, and Elohim shall wipe away tears from from their eyes. So who's wiping the tears away? Yahweh. Go back where we was just at in Isaiah 25. Scroll up all the way up. He will swallow up death and victory. And Adonai Yahweh, your Adonai Yahweh, will wipe away tears from off all faces. And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, for Yahweh has spoken. And it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our Elohim. We have waited for him. So who is this that they're talking about? It shall be said in that day, lo, this is our Elohim. We have waited for him. He will save us. Who is that they're talking about? That's Yahweh. Because the next word, the next sentence says, This is Yahweh. I like that. In the middle. Just pass it. No. This is Yahweh. Yeah. He will save us. This is Yahweh. We have waited for him. I like that. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. Click on that 3444. Yeshua. We will be glad and rejoice in his Yahweh Shai. See it? So the person that they're talking about is Yahweh, but they're going to be glad and rejoice in his Yahweh Shai. That means Yahweh Shai hasn't gotten back to the earth yet. So Yahweh basically swallowed up death and victory and destroyed a lot of stuff. And the people are saying, this is our God. We waited on him. We will be glad and rejoice in his Yahweh Shai. All right, so that word there is 3444 Hebrew, 3444. Yahweh Shai and Yiddish is Yeshua. I think Yeshua is closer than Yahweh. Yahweh sounds like it's way out somewhere, far-fetched. Yahweh sounds like something that ain't Hebrew, or close to Hebrew. Something saved. Yeshua means something saved, that is deliverance, hence aid, victory, prosperity, deliverance, health, salvation, saving health, welfare. Click out of it. For in this mountain shall the hand of Yahweh rest. What mountain do you think that is? I'll tell you what I think it is. It's the mountain Zion. It's the mountain in Jerusalem. We know that there's a mountain coming from heaven, which is Mount Zion, the heavenly Zion. It could be either one of those. But right now, I'm looking at that this mountain is really Mount Zion, where the temple set in. You're going to be back on that mountain. So Yahweh is going to come to Jerusalem and claim it. There's going to be nothing nobody can do about it. That's what's going to be something else. Now, what you going to do about this man that just came to Jerusalem, this black man, and said Jerusalem is his and the mountain is his, and you just shot at him, and all of the things you shot at him went back at you. And all of the people that shot at him got killed from their own weapon. What are you going to do about this man that every time somebody gets an idea to do something to him, he kills him? Oh, let's go press the button. They dead before they can get to the button. What are you going to do about that man? I bet you better rejoice. You better jump on his side quickly. Oh, now we know it's you, yeah, so don't do nothing to us. Jump on his side quickly because it's going to be quick. When he does his thing, it's going to be quick. But that man going to show up in Jerusalem. He's going to take over. This right here, the Bible tells us that. For in this mountain shall the hand of Yahweh rest. Right here, it might be talking about Yahweh Shai, because right there, the verse before that said we would be glad and rejoice in this Yahweh Shai. For in this mountain shall the hand of Yahweh rest. That's got to be Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Shai is going to come after Yahweh has been in the earth. And Moab should be trodden down under him, even as straw is trodden down for the dunghill. So what's going to happen is Yah is going to come. What I'm surprised about is that most people don't talk about this. They don't preach this. And the reason why I believe most people don't preach this is because the nations don't preach it. Christianity doesn't preach it. Christianity worships Yahweh Shai. They don't worship Yahweh. Most of Christianity worships the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost as one. All right? So they're not going to be aware of who Yahweh is when he comes. Put it in your search engine list. No, just go to Joel chapter 2. Joel chapter 2 is right below Hosea. It's one book below Hosea. One book above the other. Right here, right? Yeah. Yep. Chapter 2. Scroll all the way up. And you should know Joel chapter 2, verse 27. Highlight that. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. Highlight that. Now, who's going to be in the midst of Israel in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 27? Who's going to be in the midst of Israel? There's only two choices. You got to make this make logical sense. Either it's Yahweh Shai going to be in the midst of Israel, or Yahweh. Now, take your choice. And whoever this is saying that he's going to be in the midst of Israel. Yahweh. It shouldn't take a rocket science to figure that out. You should know that I am in the midst of Israel and that I am Yahweh, your Elohim. I like that. That I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Well, Jesus is called Yahweh Elohim too. Show me where is that? Where that's at? Show me where Jesus is called Yahweh. Click on that 3068 for Yahweh. Highlight that. It's Yiddish, but it's close. Jehovah, Yahweh. Highlight the self-existent. Is Yahweh Shai self-existent? There's some people that's going to say, yeah, those are the people I would not talk to. Yahweh Shai is not self-existent. It's Yahweh that's self-existent. Or eternal. Highlight the word eternal. Yahweh is eternal. All right. Click out of it. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel and that I am Yahweh, your Elohim, and none else. I like that. And none else. I like that. And none else. You should know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim, and none else. That means he's not Yahweh Shai. And my people should never be ashamed. I like that. And my people. Part of us being ashamed is that we're saying our God is Yahweh Shai. Now, that's not too bad, because Yahweh Shai lived a totally righteous life. But what's going to keep us from being put to shame is the saying that Yahweh is our Elohim. Our Elohim cannot die. Our Elohim is almighty. Our Elohim is all omnipresent. He knows all things. Yahweh Shai did not know when the end was coming. He said, no one knows, not the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but my Father only. But this is the one that knows when he's coming back. It shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. How like that? It shall come to pass that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Now, is this Yahweh Shai saying he going to pour out his spirit upon all flesh? Or is it the Father? It's the Father. Really, the Holy Spirit is the spirit of the Father. When Yahweh Shai got baptized by John the Baptist and the Spirit descended from like a dove and landed upon Yahweh Shai, it was the Father that said, this is my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased. The Spirit descended from heaven like a dove and landed upon Yahushua. All right. He said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased." So who is Yahushua underneath? He's under the Father. He was under Yahweh. He was totally obedient to him. And it should come to pass afterward that I'll pour my Spirit upon all flesh. He says afterwards. Now, is the Father going to be in the earth before he pours out his Spirit upon all flesh? Yeah. Because right here it says it should come to pass afterwards. After what? After him being in the midst of Israel. And the people knowing that he is Yahweh, the Elohim, and none else. It should come to pass afterward that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon my servants and handmaids in those days, I'll pour out my Spirit. His Spirit is really his Spirit. And Yahweh is a spirit, but he's going to put on flesh too. But he's going to pour out of his Spirit upon all the people. This has to be in the time of the fullness of the Gentiles. At the time when that comes to a complete end, which it looks like it's going to happen now. Now I will show wonders in heaven and the earth, blood, fire, pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh has said, and in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call. So I'm surprised that most people ain't talking about this. But like I said, the people that really fix it to where nobody would know this and understand this is the people that teach us Christianity. Christianity says that God is really three persons. And one form of the Godhead says that Yahushua is God, is the Most High. Either way it goes, they're denying the Most High and saying that the Son is the Most High. But it's really the Father that's the Most High. The Father's coming down. It's going to come on the sapphire stone, sapphire throne. He's going to sit up on the throne on the earth. Now, is he going to be sitting where no one can take his presence because he's so terrible? No. For that the first 1,000 years, he and Yahushua are going to be in the earth. Yahushua is going to be Melchizedek high priest. And Yahweh is going to be sitting in the temple, going to be sitting in the tabernacle. Of course, he's going to be up in heaven still because he's everywhere. But when Yahweh is completed, it's going to become a quickening spirit. Go to 1 Corinthians. Right, you're almost there. Right there. 1 Corinthians 15. Scroll up to verse 25, somewhere around there. Hold on. Scroll up a little bit. Okay, go back to verse 20, around that area. Put Put in your search engine quickening spirit. Click on that. As it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. So the first created being, first man, was Adam. He was made a living soul. The last Adam, I want you to look at this. It's italics. Click on those, highlight the italics. You notice there's italics right there? That means somebody else put that in there. The last Adam, you can look at it like whoever wrote this originally didn't put the word, put those two words in there. The last Adam, a quickening spirit. That means the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. He was human. The last Adam was not made a human. He was made a quickening spirit. Spirit and flesh is two different things. Who is this is made a quickening spirit? And that word was made, which is in italics, is not really there. So really, the last Adam, a quickening spirit. So let me read that again. So it is written, the first man, Adam, was made. The first man, Adam, was made. I like that word was made. Now that's really in there. That's what Paul really wrote. First man, Adam, was made. That means he was created, a living soul. The last Adam was not made, but he became a quickening spirit. Just like we just read about the Ancient of Days, he's going to become. He's not created, he's going to become. So the last Adam, a quickening spirit. That's what Yahweh said. Go to John chapter 4. Yahweh said that God is a spirit. John, right there, you had Luke, John, chapter 4. Nope, right there, chapter 4. Go down to verse 24. Click on 24. Yahweh told the woman at the well, God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. So the Adam that becomes becomes a quickening spirit has to be Yahweh, not Yahweh. Yahweh is still flesh and blood, flesh and bone. So the one that becomes a quickening spirit, that is a quickening spirit, is Yahweh, it's God. Go to flesh and bone, in your search engine. Yahweh is going to say this too. Go all the way down. Put bones at the end, put an S at the end of bone. Go all the way down to John. There's a Luke. Click on Luke. I thought it was John. Yahweh, when he showed up to them after the resurrection, he said, behold my hands and my feet, that is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit has not flesh and bones as you see me here. I like that. For a spirit has not flesh and bones as you see me here. So Yahweh is flesh and bones. He's not just spirit. It's flesh and bones. But the one that's the second Adam, the second man, go back there, your history. First Corinthians. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. That's Adam that was created in the garden. The last Adam, a quickening spirit. So that is not Yahushua, because Yahushua has flesh and bone. The second Adam, the last Adam, is Yahweh. He's a quickening spirit. He's not even made. I like that word was made, so that nobody else could put it in there because this person created everything. He was not made. The last Adam is Yahweh. That's why they didn't put it in there except out of italics. Now the first Adam was right there. It's created. Highlight that. First Adam was made. Click on that 1096. Gnomahi. Highlight that. First Adam was Gnomahi. And it means to cause to be, to generate. That is reflexively to become. Highlight that. To become. So the first Adam became, he was created, come into being. The second Adam, the last Adam, was made a quickening spirit. Click out of that. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Put the highlight quickening spirit. And what did Yahweh say about Yah? Go back there, John 4. What did Yahweh say about Yah? No. No. 4, John 4. Go down to verse 24. Yahweh said, God is a spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. I like that. God is a spirit. And what did Yahweh say about himself? Go back there to Luke. Right there. He said, behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit has not flesh and bones. So Yahweh had flesh and bones, and he still has flesh and bones. But the Father is going to have nothing but a spirit. Now, does that mean he's just going to be like Casper the Friendly Ghost? Just a presence? You can sense him? No. He's going to be a spirit, but you can see him. You can probably touch him. I would say you could, but you probably wouldn't want to. You'd probably be scared. A spirit that can manifest itself like a human being. Go to Exodus chapter 24. Exodus 24. Up, one more. Up, right there. Scroll down to verse 9. Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people. He said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh had made with you concerning all these words. Now, the reason why Moses is doing this is because he's the intercessor of the covenant. That's what Yahweh really is, of the second covenant. He's an intermediary between Yahweh and his people. Yahweh is like doing the same thing in the covenant. Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made with you concerning all these words. Then went up Moses, Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 others of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel. Highlight that. And they saw the God of Israel. No, nobody's ever seen God, the God of Israel. What is this talking about then? And saw the God of Israel that was under his feet, as it were, a paywork of a sapphire stone. Highlight that. That was under his feet. And there was under his feet paywork of a sapphire stone. as it were the body of heaven in his curtains. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he made not his hand. Also they saw God and did eat and drink. Highlight that. Also they saw God. Verse 11. Also they saw God and did eat and drink. No, they didn't see God. They saw Yahweh. No, they saw God and did eat and drink. Just like it says. Go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel, right there. Chapter 1. Scroll all the way up. We're going to start at verse 25. There was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood and let down their wings. So you have four cherubim flying, and they're in a canopy, what looks like a chariot. Each cherubim has four heads and four wings, right? Has, I think it's four heads and four wings. Let me see. Let me make sure the wings. Scroll up to verse 23. So it's four wings. Everyone had two, was covered on that side in their bodies. All right. Go back up. There was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads. When they stood, they let down their wings. So there's a firmament over their heads on this chariot. There was a voice, they heard it from the firmament. And above the firmament that was over their heads, there was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. Remember, we just saw that in Exodus? He stood on a sapphire stone. Highlight that as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness of the appearance of a man above upon it. Highlight that. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. Who do you think this person was that's sitting on the throne above the firmament? You say Yahweh Shai, I can understand because I was like that too. But I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, get you, get you. Upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness of the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire, round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and the appearance of his loins even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. People, that is Yahweh that's sitting on that throne. Verse 28, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of Yahweh. When I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. So, no one has ever seen Yahweh. That can't be. That's got to be Yahweh Shai. No, people. That's Yahweh right there. Go to Psalm 99 quickly. Psalm 99. Right below Job. Click. 99, scroll. Right there. Nope. Scroll a little bit more. 99, come on. Right there. Yahweh reigning. Let the people tremble. He sitteth between the cherubim. How like that? He sitteth between the cherubim. Let the earth be moved. So whenever you see those cherubim, like Ezekiel's book, chapter 1, and they are guiding the chariot with a person sitting on it on a throne, that's Yahweh. All right? Yahweh reigneth, let the people tremble. He sitteth between the cherubim, let the earth be moved. What do you think he's at? He's not in the earth. I don't think Yahweh is going to come to the earth. I think he's just going to be up in heaven and the people going to tremble. I think that's how it's going to. No. He's going to come to the earth. So Yahweh reigneth. Click on that reigneth again. Reigneth is Malak. To reign, inseparably to ascend the throne. Highlight that. To ascend the throne. That means Yahweh is going to be in the earth. He's going to ascend the throne. All right. And Yahweh Shai is going to sit on the throne of David. So there'll be two thrones. One is going to be Yahweh's throne in Jerusalem, and one is going to be David's throne. And Yahweh Shai is going to sit on David's throne. And Yahweh Shai is going to be a priest and a king up on his throne. Yahweh is going to be God. That's what he's going to be. God. Can I say that again? God. Duh. God. Duh. Click on that. Click out of it. Yahweh is great in Zion. He is high above all the people. I like that. Now, what do you think this is going to happen at? Yahweh is great in Zion. He is high above all the people. What do you think that's going to be at? Since he's not coming to the earth, he's too good to the earth. It's going to be in heaven. Somebody grab a Bible and throw it at him. Somebody come out of nowhere with a Bible and say, "Get out of here." That's how most people that read the Bible should be treated. Throw the Bible at them hard, not soft. Knock the block off of them. Yahweh is great in Zion. He is high above all the people. Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy. So when you see this Yahweh sitting in Jerusalem, highlight that. It says, let them praise thy great and terrible name. For it is holy. That person is going to be called the name of Yahweh. When Yahweh's in the earth reigning, he's going to be called the name of Yahweh. Well, let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy. Look at this scripture. Go to verse 5. Exalt Yahweh our Elohim and worship at his footstool. Highlight that. Exalt Yahweh our Elohim and worship at his footstool. For he is holy. So who's going to be sitting at the footstool of Yahweh? Yahweh. He's going to be sitting on the throne and sitting on the footstool. We see that in Isaiah 66. The heavens is Yahweh's throne and earth is his footstool. And this right here, this was written with a vision on the resurrection. Moses and Aaron among his priests, Samuel among them that call upon his name. They call upon Yahweh and he answered them. He spake unto them in the cloudy pillar. They kept his testimony. No ordinances that he gave them. So people, it's really Yahweh that's coming. When he comes, he's going to call his son down from the throne. victory we're going to get in Yahweh, going to be none like it. Because the devil and his people are going to try to literally take Yahweh out. And there's going to be nothing they can do to him. All right? Could those men of Sodom and Gomorrah do anything to the angels? Nope. As a matter of fact, it turned out to be Yahweh in the Sodom and Gomorrah anyway. Go to Genesis, one more last verse. Genesis chapter 19. Scroll up a little bit more. That's 19. Scroll all the way down to the end. Scroll up, yeah. Okay, hold on. Scroll up some more. Right there. Genesis 19:23. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. So Lot is running from Sodom and Gomorrah, and he told the angels, let him go to Zoar, because if he goes any further, something bad might happen to him. So they waited till he entered into Zoar, and that was it. Verse 24. Then Yahweh rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahweh out of heaven. I like that whole sentence, the whole verse. Then Yahweh rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahweh out of heaven. Explain that. So Yahweh was one of the angels right there with him. How did he rain fire and brimstone upon him? Yahweh rained fire and brimstone upon Sodom and Gomorrah from Yahweh out of heaven. No, that's two Yahwehs. One of them is his son and one of them is the father. Throw that book at him. Slap him upside the head with that Bible. It's literally saying that Yahweh's in two places at the same time. How can it be too hard to believe? All right, people. Just giving you another wake-up call. It's going to happen one of these days. Only Yahweh knows. Only Yahweh knows what day and time is going to come. But I'll tell you this, most people won't be expecting it. Most people, period, won't expect Yahweh and how it's coming. How he's going to do it, even though it's written right there in the scriptures. All right, well, I pray that you come out of paganism and return to the covenant, and for those that are Israel and Judah, for those that are the heathen, that are Gentiles, recognize what we're talking about here. Save yourself so you can have mercy when Yah comes for his people. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to get mercy. Make sure you one of them. All right? Shalom.